Thank you very much. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to chair the session on the launch of the book, Agricultural Price Distortion, Inequality, and Poverty. And also by Kim Anderson, and John, and Will Martin. And to say a few words at the beginning. We know that most of the poor in the world live on agriculture. And so if we can improve agricultural activities and also the market value of agricultural products, that will contribute the most to the poverty reduction in the world, and also contribute to the improvement of equity. And we have a lot of research to support that. But unfortunately, agricultural sectors is one of the most distorted sectors. I think that related to the oil strategy in the past, try to mobilize the agricultural resources to support the industrialization in the country. And because of that legacy, the agricultural price has been replaced in many parts of the world. Incentive and productivity have been replaced. But luckily, in the 1980s, we started to see the reform in agricultural sectors that has been carried out in many, many countries in the world. And we see very good results. For example, my own country, that China, made a very important progress in this area. And so far, more than 20 years has passed. And in spite of so many reforms, we see agricultural distortion still quite widespread, and especially the book by Kim Anderson and its associated finding, and the evidence from 1955 to 2007 support the kind of judgment. And what would be the consequence if we remove all the distortion in agricultural sectors? What will be its implication on poverty reduction and income inequality? Certainly, this is a very important issue. It's a theoretical issue, but more important, it's a empirical issue. And to do the empirical evaluation, certainly there are two approaches. One is to use export historical data to examine the likely impacts. But unfortunately, the data is not really available. And especially it's hard to find the natural experimentation that can really tell us if all the distortion has been removed in one country or in the world, that probably be consequence. So for that, we have to rely on exam, analytical, and simulation modeling, and with some data. For that area, I would like to say that World Bank and many other research institutions in the past few years has done quite a lot of work in this regard. And in this book, they are specifically looking at the issue of the commodity price and agricultural prices. And if we have reform, especially trade policy reform, to remove those distortions, what will be the consequence globally and in the individual country? For the global consequence, impacts, and as expected, it's going to reduce poverty, improve the equalities. But for the individual country, the situation is somewhat uncertain and sensitive to the individual country's situation, especially how the government is going to compensate for the loss of tax revenue from agricultural distortions. It is also related to the flexibility of the labor market, as well as what kind of measures the government will adopt to help the farmers to mitigate the likely adverse impacts. But overall, the message is quite positive. And this is especially important because now we know that WTO is still on the process of Doha round. And agricultural reform is one of the main contents of the WTO Doha round negotiation. And also because the NDGs, we hope that we can achieve that goal in 2015. And if there's some agricultural reform to remove the distortion, that will make a contribution to the goal. And this book should be welcome because of the current global crisis. And we anticipate we are going to have a slower growth in the coming years. And if we can carry out agricultural reform, remove the distortions, and improve the incentive to the farmer, and contributing to the poverty reduction, and as well as the improvement of equity issue, that will be a very welcome message. And before I give the floor to Kim Anderson and Debbie and William, I'd like to mention this book is one of the 7 books that will be published by a project that initiated by Kim Anderson when he was at the bank, I think in 2005, on the agricultural incentive and distortion. They already published 5 books, 4 on regional studies, 1 on global studies, and this one is the implication of the reform regarding the poverty and inequalities. And there will be one more book coming out. That is on the political economy of agricultural distortion and reform. So with that, I'd like to welcome Kim, Debbie, and Martin for giving the presentation. Thank you.